a family, they have one child. It's a second child. The first one got sick. They don't go beyond 2 years. So boys at 2 years got sick mysteriously. Mara is low blood. Kimbizo ameongezewa kupita. And they lost this boy. So they have a second son. Second son, Kenyatta. They're almost losing this one also at 2 years old. And the contact person is the one that visited. And he explains he found a 2-year-old whose eyes had bolted and very wide. The jaws are swollen and all his teeth are out. Doesn't look like a human being. If you look at that child, you can easily rule that he is dead. And he walks in, he's one of us. And the same spiritual discernment I'm talking about, and he tells the parents, this child is not sick. So he begins warfare, maombi ya vita, just immediately. Just took the Bible and was now addressing the devil and made a prayer and say, you are fleeing from here. You will not look at me like that. You are going today. You like it or not. And the eyes started closing to normal size. And the teeth, and he closed his mouth. And it's a battle, you wouldn't want to leave it there. So through prayer, because normally we don't attend to these situations with our own wisdom. We seek to know what could be the problem. We highly depend on God's revelations. He goes into prayer and he calls and says the only thing he can see out of a dream are 2 houses combined together. You know, like this house here, and there's another one that looks like an extension, but they're joined. That's all he can see in a dream after the prayer. And he calls one of us gifted with revelation. She also goes into prayer. And how she sees it clearly. It's a house built like this. And it has something like an extension. And inside is a grave. Is a grave within the house of a child that was buried. And the owner of the child has turned it into an altar. So this child that died is her child. So it's a child that died not a normal death, was offered as a sacrifice for her to be given. I don't know what is genie? Genie in Kizungu. Some forces of darkness. So that is what she uses to control and manipulate the whole home. And so she narrates it. A visit is made. So by the time we are making that visit, we already know what is there. So we get there. And this child's father, who was sick, together with his wife, they say, I'm not so sure if my siblings and the whole family would love to have this kind of prayer. Every time we have planned for prayer with church members, my sister-in-law, the owner of that house, says, hata hiyo maombi itafanyika. You know, she's controlling the home and tells you to your face, haitafanyika. And it never happens. So he says, I'm not so sure if it will happen, because every time we have planned, nothing happens. So this contact person, I'm avoiding names, tells him, if your father is ready, your mother is ready, you and your wife, you're ready. And at that moment, that child is sick and his wife is also sick, cannot walk. But after prayer, she has strength. And she also says, I must go home. And they're asking, how will she get home? But she went home. Get there, family seated like you're seated, they're waiting. Now, those places you don't eat, you don't even drink water. So you don't want to tell them what the revelation is. You want it to come from there. But you prompt them. And after prompting, they think probably it's their father who was handed over something, an inheritance in terms of witchcraft, that is destroying the home. That woman tells you and has told all her nyekes. Nyeke is what? Nyeke is co-wives. You know, they are married in that home. You give birth to a son, she will tell you, hataishi. And they die like that. So the whole home fears. And they've lost children. They are desperate. She doesn't live there. They live in the coast with her husband. She is a member of the choir, sings alto. The husband is a church elder. And that is the bit that makes me sad. The whole family is there except her and her husband. And they say, baba si uonge, ama kuna kitu ulipewa na babu zako na utaki kutuambia. And the father says, no. Hata mimi nimechoka with what is happening. And then we open a lesson on the state of the dead and the manner in which today it is done by us, Christians, unknowingly. And then they say, yeah, our neighbor here, they lost their father and then akakaushwa, akazikwa. So every year, wako na ile makumbusho. How do you call it? They have the makumbusho. So when that time comes, that home is packed with cars. Even the road is impassable. And that day, kuna kitu wanafinya, alafu mwili yake inakuja. So every year they have an opportunity to view that body. Then it goes. Then we say, hapana sio hiyo tunasema. And then they look at each other like this. And then Migogo is a daughter of the home. Says, kuna kitu mimi nataka kusema. Niulize, mtu akifiwa na mtoto wake, alafu azike ndani ya nyumba yake, hiyo pia ni mzuri kweli? You see, now she's beginning to. And then one son who's a drunkard says, kwa nini tunaficha hii kitu? Ndugu yangu ako na nyumba pale. Walizaa mtoto akafa hospitali. Bibi yake alibeba kwa mkono kwa matatu. Hawakutuambia chochote, tuliitwa tu nyumbani eti sherehe ya Christmas, kumbe ni matanga. Na wakazika hapo. Walipozika nyumba wakajenga. Ilijengwa mbio sana. Na hiyo kaburi iko ndani ya nyumba. But you see, as the Lord has already revealed to us, so now we open it up to them. And the father said, if that is what is killing my home, hiyo nyumba tunavunja leo. Ushavunja nyumba ya mtu na hayuko. Ilivunjwa. Walianzia main house. You enter the main house like this. When you finish, there's a corridor, and then the other house. Alafu kona wall hivi, so zimeshikana. In that house, where the child was buried, they have built something. Paka juu na bricks. Imefunikwa. Na ikawekwa mlango ya chuma. Ikafungwa. Ndani ya no one has access except them. So we said, tunaweza bomoa hapa. Baba akasema bomoa. Kabomolewa. And when you go inside, it looks like a small mausoleum. When you go inside, wamepanga matofali kubwa kubwa hapo. Kwa hiyo kaburi, imepangwa kubwa kubwa. But we know what is inside. So tukawaambia toa. Wakatoa. Ikitolewa, we find a big doll the size of a child. Big doll. Clean. So you can imagine a doll under matofali, but what? If you're not keen, you'll think is a human being, not a doll. But the legs in Ambekani. In Ambekani is what? The legs, what is in Ambekani? Huh? They are weak, you know? And they say, nini? That thing is not a doll. That thing is alive. Because at the side, there's a box of milk. And the packets zimekatwa anakunywa kila siku. Packets empty zimepangwa vizuri. Zenye imekatwa the same way na zimepangwa hapo. Na box ya maziwa bado iko hapo. Na imefungwa madawa mingi zimewekwa hapo. So anytime you meet those kinds of things, people who keep genie normally give sacrifices, fetal sacrifices. So that is the altar this woman uses to terrorize the home. And you can imagine, hakuna mtu wako na mtoto mvulana. Unazaa hivi anakuambia tuone kama ataishi. Cha. Hata huyu ataenda. Cha. No one is making progress. The whole home fears her. It's desperate. When the children of God are bound, they are helpless, hopeless. For a power they can actually defeat. But what hurts me the most is that she's a church member, a church choir member. The husband is an elder. I have always said, do not let the devil instill fear in you. He thrives where there is what? So you can imagine you have this kind of a family member and she threatens you to your face and none of you is able to deal with her. None. And is a wife to one of the sons. None of you can deal with her. So she's terrorizing the home the way she wants. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we are living in terrible times when your children suffer and they are rendered helpless and hopeless. And they don't only suffer, they end up in death, utter destruction, for a power that they can actually control and put in check. Speak to us this evening to understand who we are in light of our salvation. It's been raining a better part of the evening. It's been raining for quite heavily. It's again raining. I can only plead that you take charge and take captive of this meeting, of all our equipments, the power, the internet. Take captive of everything. Come down, tabernacle with us. Where you are, we cannot coexist with the devil, and he cannot control this meeting. So I pray you will enable us to finish this message to the glory and honor of your name, is our prayer in Jesus' name. Hebrews chapter 2. It starts, therefore, we must give the more earnest heed to the things we have heard, lest we drift away. Of course, when it starts with the word therefore, it means in light of the foregoing statements, which is chapter 1. We discussed it yesterday to see who is Christ and who are angels and what is your position as man. So he's saying, in light of the fact that Christ is the creator, the Son of God, express image of his Father. He sits at the right hand of his Father, much better than the angels who are ministering spirit sent forth to minister to us, man. In light of that, he's saying we must give now the more earnest heed to the things we have heard, lest we drift away, like we are drifting away. A woman called me and said, Pastor, I just prepared the kids to go to school. It's on a Friday. I'm waiting for the driver to come. The driver has delayed. I have called her. She has said, the father of the kids has said she should not pick the kids. This is a woman, I'm sorry if we take too long. This is a woman, I'll be so fast. This is a woman that had a difficult childhood. In this sense, they were born 4 siblings. And then the father contracted another marriage, a second wife, who came with witchcraft and made sure the first wife left the home. And she left. And she was married elsewhere. And she died. She also didn't embrace these 4 kids. So they went to live with their maternal grandma. She says life was difficult. We lacked. Our father got to a point, he became sick. He became mentally ill. And our stepmother said she cannot live with a she cannot live with a mentally ill man. She also left. Life was difficult. She became vulnerable. And she had to get married at a very early age. She got married when she was 16. When Jagweng is what? When Jagweng is a villager, told her, why are you suffering? My brother has a son that needs to marry. Why don't you accept? He marries you. And she thought to herself, maybe if I have my own home and my own man, life will become easier. That's how she was married. Immediately she got there, life was not easy. She got pregnant. And it was an abusive marriage because she was a child. Very abusive. The father-in-law told her, you will die in my home. If you can find a place and go, please do. She left her son 1.5 years behind to go and start life in Kisumu. She says, I hustled and decided to start a business, second-hand clothes. God blessed my hands. And somehow I was so stable. And after 2 years, I went and picked my son. And I brought him to Kisumu. Pastor was a hard worker. My son went to school that normal people that I knew and had means couldn't go. I put my son, as she narrates the story, she's crying. I put my son in Aga Khan and I'm selling tumba. And when Makini came, I moved my son from Aga Khan to Makini. That is how stable I was. But I don't know what went wrong with my son. He just became a stubborn boy. The school couldn't control him. There is no day that ends before the school calls me and tells me, can you come and take your son? Can you talk to your son? And one day the principal called me to the office and she told me, I think your son needs a father figure. That's how I got married again. And we moved to Nairobi. My son was not comfortable in the school we had admitted him because he's moving from a good school to an average school. I didn't know this second marriage would turn to be more abusive than the first one. I was reduced to nothing. As years went by, my son became more stubborn, uncontrollable, rebellious. At some point, when I got so tired, this man said, I don't want him. And she had to look for a school up country, boarding. She took her son there. The school couldn't control him, asked her. He went to school 2 weeks, but she had paid money for the whole year. And she said, I'm tired. She called a taxi guy she knew. I said, go to this school. My son has been cleared. I have told them you're coming to pick him. Take him. I'm giving you directions where you're dropping this boy. Just don't talk to school, to the school administration. Don't talk to the boy. Just pick the boy. I'm giving you the direction to where you should take him. And she picks this boy, directs him to their home where she was first married. That time he's now a class 8. And he says, when you get to that home, just say, huyu ni fulani. If he's welcomed, leave immediately and leave him there. If you see resistance, take him. I'll tell you where to take him again. And when he got there and said his name, this is so and so, they were so excited. Taxi guy jumped into the car. And she knew she had dealt with the case of that boy, never to see her son again. Some things she can't say. And when I say, is that the only thing that makes you so angry? She said, Pastor, this is a boy that was happy when my husband was beating me. He was so excited. And when you ask the boy, why are you excited? Mimi nilikuwa napenda tu nikiona dadi anapiga mami, nafurahia sana. Hata saa ingine namwekelea tu vitu zingine ndio apigwe, you know? And she tells me, Pastor, I can be feeding the children because she has 2 children now with that man. They are young. They are young, the fruits are there, yogurt is there, food is there. When he comes, he say, I'm wasting my money. You are so stupid. You can't even give the children the food that I bring. And she's like, they have just taken yogurt. They have just taken fruits. That's why they can't eat well. And when she's trying to feed the kids and the child is refusing, before she knows it, you're so stupid. Can't even feed your children. Some people are in so abusive marriages. This is a man, when he sees a cockroach going, he says, you are so dirty. It's beat. That warrants a beating. She had been reduced to a small child, and she says, I lived in fear. This man would go and close the water with a pliers, take off the knob, and say, unaribu maji. You can't even pay any bill. Can't pay. Look at your mother. Hopeless, useless. She can't buy food. She can't pay any bills. Not even what, he's speaking to his children about their mother. And he would go and close it. And I ask, why couldn't you just say, Pastor, I lived in fear. But why were you holding on? I didn't want my children to go through what I went through as a child. And I said, if the first marriage didn't work, this one must work. I was willing to be beaten. I knew this thing will work. As I speak, the man left off is with another woman. Naishi na mama ingine has stopped taking care of things. He's only paying school fees and rent. He comes to see his children on the weekend. They don't talk, no hi, no. Mtu shaingia kwa nyumba ukaona ni kama hakuna mtu. He just talks to the children. Not even on phone. So this time they have opened school on Friday because she had come to see me. So her kids reported to school on Friday. She calls me in the morning. We arrived yesterday. I've prepared them. He has told the driver not to take them to school. She has no job. And I warned her and told her, I want you to man up, because very soon he'll stop paying rent. He'll also stop doing what? Paying school. But I told her, I see a lot of potential in you. This woman talks, there's no statement she says without a tear. When she remembers the girl that she was in Kisumu, and I told her that is who you are. The devil has just rubbished you. And you feel like you can't contribute to anything. Useless. She cannot lift herself from that rubble. And I told her, now you have to work hard. Friends, when you know who you are in Christ, you will not let the devil sit on you like that. To the point you cannot even fight. You can't fight back. You're just helpless. I told her, let's pray. They'll go to school on Monday. Just undress them because it's 10 right now. Undress them. They'll go to school. But I want you to know at the back of your mind, very soon he'll stop paying school fee and rent. You now need to man up and fight for your marriage. So the Bible says, therefore, we must give more earnest heed to the things we have heard, lest we drift away. You can easily drift. You can easily let the devil win the battle. You can easily let the devil control and manipulate you. You can easily let the devil sit on you, oppress, depress, possess. And he's saying, for if the word spoken through angels proved steadfast, and every transgression and disobedience received the just reward, how shall we escape if we neglect so great a salvation? Do you know what it means to be saved? When we neglect our salvation, when we reject our redemption, he's saying, do you know who you are? Are you aware you are a co-heir with Christ, yet to be an inheritor? Are you aware it's our brother that rules the universe? Are you aware it is the Son of Man that sits at the right hand of his Father? One of us. What will become of us if we neglect such a salvation? Which at the first began to be spoken by the Lord and was confirmed to us by those who heard him. God also bearing witness both with signs and wonders and various miracles and gifts of the Holy Spirit according to his own will. For, we are in verse 5, I'm reading it slowly. For he has not put the world to come, of which we speak, in subjection to angels. Let me break it. God has not put the world to come. Which is the world to come? Which is the world to come? Huh? Which is the world to come? The new heaven and the new? The Bible is saying God has not put that new, does not put the world to come in the hands of angels. Not this one. The world to come, the one we are speaking about and saying we are Adventists waiting for him. That world has not been put in subjection to angels. To who has the Lord placed the world to come? Is what we want to find out. Verse 6 says, it has been put to the one testified in a certain place. The Bible says, but one testified in a certain place. There is someone that the world to come has been handed over to. And this someone has been spoken about in a certain place. Those that understand literary devices, I think it's called an allusion. When you speak of something now, but you're alluding to it, it's already existing elsewhere. Is it? Something like that. So what the writer is doing is giving us the person that has been talked about elsewhere. He says, but one testified in a certain place. Who's this person in a certain place? What is it saying? It says, what is man that you're mindful of man? What is man? That is the person the world to come has been handed over. The what? The world to come. What is man that you are mindful of him, or the Son of Man? This Son of Man here is not Jesus. This is Son of Man, a human being. Or the Son of Man that you take care of him. He's asking, who are you? What is a human being that you care so much? What is this special thing in a human being that you want to focus all your attention on? You have made him a little lower than the angels. You have crowned him with glory and honor and set him over the works of your hands. You have put all things in subjection under his feet. For in that he put all in subjection under him. The world to come has been put in subjection under who? And man. And he left nothing that is not put under him. Everything has been put under man. But now we do not yet see all things put, and for now you may not understand what he's saying. I'm struggling to help us understand. Tuko pamoja mpaka mahali imefika? He's saying the world to come has not been put in subjection to the angels. It's been put in subjection to who? To man. And then he quotes a verse that is in Psalm chapter 8, verse 4. Because that is where the man has been spoken of. He says, you've spoken about him in some place. Psalm chapter 8, verse 4. Who is man that you're mindful of him? I want to tell you something. The Greek rendition waters that statement down. And we have been misled to believe that we were made a little lower than angels. We have been misled because of translation. Until we have felt that angels rank higher than man, which is not true. When you read this text, original Hebrew Bible, which I know those of us that have King James or New King James translation will give you a superscript, and on the footnote it will explain to you what it means. The New Testament borrows from the Septuagint. Septuagint is the translation of the Old Testament from Hebrew to Greek, and that is where we lost the actual meaning. But when you study this text in the original Hebrew manuscript, it says, for you have made him a little lower than Elohim. Elohim is not angels. Elohim is who? God. Angel is Malik. Say, we were made a little lower than God. And that is why we are created in the image and likeness of who? Of God. He is a ruler. Because we were created a little lower than him in his image and likeness, we are also rulers. And that's why when he does his creation, he gives man the power to rule over the lower orders of the earth as he takes care of the orders above. You cannot compare yourself even to an angel. We were not made a little lower than angels. We were made a little lower than who? Than God. You may think I'm lighting a strange fire. I am not. Even me is a revelation by the Holy Spirit. It's a mystery of God. Now, if you study Psalm chapter 8 verse 4 in our mother tongue, puts it exactly like that. Today, I wanted to find out, what does our mother tongue say? Does anyone have a Luo Bible or a Kegusi Bible? Ati Seth ako nayo na ameibeba ndani ya simu. Seth, tupatie tu hiyo yako iko kwa simu. Though ya simu imekuwa, ya simu pia imeharibiwa. Psalm chapter 8. Somare. Fungua ya Ekegusi. Psalm is what in the Luo? That is what Seth is struggling with. What is Psalm in the Luo? Tafuta Zaburi. In Ekegusi is what? Zaburi. Yeah. Just get me. Let me read it myself. 8 verse 4. Read it. You have a microphone. 8 verse 4. It says what? 8 verse 5. 8 verse 5. We have a microphone there. Someone is reading.
Yeah.
Yes.
8
verse 5.
Verse 5 says,
yes.
In Luo, Tokata kamano ne ichweyo
ne set som gino mos weringo gidwa ringo no isomo giki nono. Tokata kamano ne ichweye
ma in kende ema iloye.
Tokata kamano ne ichweye ma in
kende
emitim rinade
ema iloye.
Do we have a Luo here? Hawa watu wanakaa dormant, wachana na at least wako active. Do we have some Luos here? Now translate to me that one in Kiswahili. Sasa wewe huku soma system ya Kenya. Wewe umesoma international schools. Wapi Mjaluo hapa mwenye alifanya Kiswahili? Wako wapi? Wako wapi? Watu translate pamoja. Tokata kamano. Hata hivyo ne ichweye uli muumba ma in kende ulimuumba kwamba wewe peke yako emiloe ndio umemu koratiga ngochanda. Our mother tongues didn't lose it. Say hata hivyo ulimuumba ambapo ni wewe tu umefanya nini? Unamshinda. Ekegusi. Ningo gosoma.
Ninje.
Okay. Otenene.
Kiwungo kia gatano. Kia gatano. Kwa mokorire
kobansake
asura yo mwenyene Nyasaye.
Enda pole. Unajua kisiwa naongea mbio sana.
Kwa mokorire kobansaka asure
wewe
kobansake asura yo mwenyene Nyasaye. Asore aye o mwenyene.
Pastor Kebaso, translate that. Now translate it. Kiswahili, just translate.
Okay, let him read as I
Please read as it translates. Kwa mokorire umemfanya
kuwa chini
kidogo
kwako wewe Bwana Mungu wetu.
It feels liberating, is it? It feels liberating, is it? To know God ranks highest. If we were to do an organogram, I want to use a language that we can understand. Otherwise, you can never compare yourself to God. If I was to do an organogram or a hierarchical structure, God ranks up here. And then who follows? Man. After man, holy angels. Who's at the bottom? Fallen angels. The question I'm asking. If there is an outbreak of a disease in State House girls, and we lose 2 or 3 students, which government officer do you expect there? CS education, CS health. It will tell you things are serious, is it? What if President Ruto goes there? Not even Rigiji. What if President Ruto goes there? What does it mean? Yeah. It is very, very what? Serious. It means the president doesn't have to go there for something the CS can do what? Can handle. Now let me ask you, if Gabriel can handle Lucifer, huh? If Gabriel can handle Lucifer, wait a minute, if Lucifer misbehaves and Gabriel can handle him, it means it is serious, is it? If you come to handle him, what does it mean? What does it mean? Very serious. It is very serious. When we were in Kajiado the other day, on Sunday, they have done nice offices for the local administration, and I liked it. And when we were done from the chief's office, they have fenced the place so nicely. And he said, I'm glad you came. I will even invite you, the church pastor, because I told him I won't be around, to come and be the one to pray when the CS interior is coming to open the place. Chief's office. Who's coming to open? And I know why he's coming to open. It's a big territory. And probably they have some interests which I may not understand. But in our own stupidity, as we were driving back, we had this discussion. In our own stupidity, we were saying, how does Kithure Kindiki leave his office to come and preside over a function that a women rep can handle? Hiyo inamaanisha amekosa kazi ya kufanya. Of course, they have their reasons. We were just reasoning as stupid boys and girls in the car. By the time you leave your space, you, to come and attend to the devil, umekosa kazi ya kufanya. Yani una vitu ya kufanya. Ni kwamba hauelewi kazi unafaa kufanya. Bible said we have ministering spirits that minister to. That is the work of angels. When the devil comes to oppress you, understand he is a non-issue to you. It's not something you should be paying attention to. You should not waste your time on him. You should not even give him airtime. If you ever give the devil airtime, it's by grace. It's by grace I can even have a discussion with you. Just like Kithure would say, I have many important things to attend to. It's because of the love I have for this place that I have come to open this thing. Why do you let a being who's a non-issue ruffle you up? Sit on you. Na ukimsikia tu jina yake hivi, unaogopa. Wengine wanasema, you had this discussion yesterday when we were taking tea. Wengine wanasema usicheze shetani, ile nguvu yenye alikuwa nayo bado ako si tunakuanga na hiyo discussion hapa kwa maklasi yetu. Ile nguvu alikuwa nayo bado ako nayo. Nataka kukukumbusha hiyo nguvu yenye unashinda ukiimba bado ako nayo. Na hiyo nguvu ndio bado alitupwa kutoka wapi? Mbinguni. Mbona huyu jamaa anatuhangaisha hivi? Some people will say, don't joke with the devil. Don't joke with him. He's not your uncle. He's not your brother. This guy has been in existence for 6,000 years plus to make us feel like we are so low and he's so powerful and you can't joke with him. Today, go home. The devil should know it is you he can't joke with. Yaani hata sasa nikimkompea na takataka, hata takataka iko na value. I want to finish that sermon tomorrow. But I want to say this. It's a truth it does not want you to know. Because if you know, you will not be afraid of him. If you know, you will not pay attention to him. If you know, you will not give him audience. If you know, you will not even regard him because he thrives where there is fear. So, because you didn't know, you are scared of him. But because now you know, you are liberated. Kama shetani ndiye anatuogopa sisi. Shetani ndiye anatuogopa sisi. Sembuse wakala wake. Sembuse mganga ambaye ni agent wake. Watu wenye wanamfanyia kazi. Sisi mbona nina struggle mnaniangalia ni kama hata msikii kitu ninasema. Kama sisi ndio tuko juu ya malaika kina Gabriel na wanatushughulikia, wanatuhudumia. Yeye pia ako na wahudumu wake. Kama yeye tu ndiye akituona hivi anatetemeka. Sembuse mganga wake. Yaani unatoka kwa level yako, unawacha ya Gabriel, unawacha ya shetani, unakuja mpaka kwa mganga. Unaona ujinga uko naye. Ukisikia mganga unaogopa. So today when you go home, I think I told you this, and you find the devil seated in your house. Si unaenda kufungua tu sahi. Unaingia tu unafungua kifuli hivi, alafu unatafuta pale switch iko. Ukifungua tu amekaa hapo. Unatetemeka. Leo ukienda umpati. Inafaa unamwambia umefika, yani ulinitangulia. Sasa nimechoka. Nimetoka jam imekuwa mbaya na nimepitia kanisani. Ule mama amehubiri masaa mingi, tumekaa. Sasa nimechoka, nataka tu kufikiria vile ninaoga nikule. So niwe utaamua uhame ama uningoje nikiamka kesho nikiwa na nguvu. Tutapambana kesho. Kesho tutapambana. That is the spirit that was in David when the Philistines through Goliath terrorized them for 40 days, 40 nights. People are fleeing. No one is willing to fight. Generals that have been to war for years. And when David comes, he knows, in my presence, mimi shetani akiniona anafanya nini? Because He's not a match for me. So when Goliath is coming toward him, he does not run away the way you run away. When Goliath is coming toward him, he's also going toward who? Goliath. The understanding is the devil is no match for a child of God. It says, he who is in what? In you is greater than him who's outside. So why do you freak out? And every time the Lord addresses us, many times in the Bible, we keep saying, fear not. Fear not. Your only problem is what? Fear. And what you're afraid of is a being that cannot even do anything to you. He's able to do things to you because of what? Fear. But when you stand firm, resist him by faith, he does what? He flees. He knows this one is immovable. And those are the prayers you kneel down and tell God, I am not drowning. I am not going down. You are not taking my child. Devil, you're not taking my husband. Hiyo nakuambia mapema. Nishaona vile unakuja, nishakucheki, nimekuona unakuja, nakuambia tu mapema. Mume wangu ufanye nini? Uchukue. Watoto wangu uchukue. Mke wangu uchukue. Some prayers made in mother tongue. Mother tongue are so good. Jachien asene ni kakibiro. Odaka okichuo. Odaka okitimri nadi. Odaka okichuo. Ibiro mote lueti. Iya no. Taka. Beokone, in fact, jachien. Aketo mana sana ka loso kodi. Nguono emomiya loso kodi. Nguono. Ija hawi. Ni anya loso kodi. Nimeenda mbali sana. I'm doing you a favor to talk to you. Otherwise, you're not worth my time. If all of us had that confidence, and that belief was so strong in us, the devil has no space in our lives. Has no space in our lives. He has no space in our lives. But look at the way he has terrorized us, destroyed our homes. We are so scared of him when we shouldn't. It's my prayer. I will wind this up tomorrow. But the writer is saying, this which I'm discussing, but now you do not yet see all things put under him, under man. You don't see it. And tomorrow we will discuss why you can't see this reality. Tomorrow we'll look at it. Why this thing doesn't look real to you. For you to know you are a being created just lower than who? Than God. This universe is ours. The world to come has been put in our hands. We shall reign with Christ our brother forever. This universe that the devil took and claimed it was his, and through the death and resurrection of Christ, Christ redeemed it, both the earth and man. The world to come is being put under you. You. Can't even ask yourself if kila kitu imewekwa kwa mkono yangu. Wacha hii sasa iko na ile inakuja. Sasa shetani ni mtu wa kumpata nafasi maisha yako. Ana nini ya kukupa wewe? What does he have to offer? Nothing. I am a heir of the world to come. And that is why, let me remind you, when they say that the shadow of Kina Peter would heal people and they would drive demons, shadow too, demon possessed lies here. When Peter is just passing, his shadow, demons, the power is not in the shadow. They understood who they were. Their presence alone terrifies who? The devil. So it's not Gabriel who has come down. Someone higher than Gabriel has just come. This is serious. Gabriel himself tells Daniel, I am going back to fight the prince of Persia. I'm not done. After him, the prince of Greece will come. But I don't want you to get scared because none of them can withstand me except Michael. These guys I'm going to fight. Hakuna mwenye ananishinda. Na washinda wote. Mwenye ananishinda tu ni nani? Ni Michael. Na wewe uko chini ya nani? Wewe uko chini ya nani? Wewe uko chini ya nani? Chini ya Michael. May this truth sink so deep in our hearts. Do not let fear take control of you from a being that you cannot even compare him to yourself. You have no time for him. Rise up. Take charge of the situation. And let him know you have no place in my life. May the Lord Jesus bless us in his mighty name.